Level up your hunting game and join the cause. Help preserve small-town Texas hunting culture and become a more successful hunter by learning the best ways to squeeze the most out of your budget and precious time out in the field. Welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Here are your resident bandits, Richard Kinchlow and Jimmy Byrne.
Well, hello there, faithful followers of the Feed Bandit Podcast. How is everybody doing today? Corn Bandit coming back at you with another little solo podcast here tonight. Mr. El Bandido himself has the evening off. As you know, Jimmy is a great scientist, and he is also a philosophizer. And he used to study under the likes of Socrates and the other dude, bald head, wore robes. Let's see, rhymes with that. What's that stuff that you play with? You could make stuff with as a kid, different colors, tastes good, kind of Play-Doh. Yeah, Play-Doh. Yeah. So anyway, old Jim's busy doing his philosophy type stuff and all kinds of science stuff like Leonardo DiCaprio. And anyway, he could not join us on tonight's episode. Excuse me, but that is okay. Because I am back here with you and going to be talking a little bit about the weekend we just had. Hell of a weekend. That's all I can say. That's all I can say for now. So we'll jump right into it because it's a great story, and it was really just kind of one of those weekends that that I certainly won't forget, and I'm hoping the people I was hunting with wouldn't forget. So. Set the stage for you. We'll talk a little bit about we'll hit the deer hunting piece first. So boy, it was kind of a tale of 2 days really. Saturday, or we'll start on Friday. Friday, I think the high got up to 76, something of that nature. So your very typical second weekend of November weather, right? Just ridiculous, but it was hot and it was windy. And, of course, when you get those types of conditions, obviously not optimal for deer hunting, needless to say. So the group that was at Rancho Bandido, they got smart. They listened to their training, and they decided to hit a couple of blind and feeder combinations that were typically, out of the wind per se, or at least as much as possible. Really ones that, that don't require the deer to make a long trip from cover. Because again, it's warm, it's windy, scents are swirling. The deer are just never all that comfortable. So, having cover close by, your feeding station obviously is very important, especially for days like on that Friday. Well, truthfully, and Saturday too. It was just unbelievably windy. So that's what we contended with, and one of our buddies ended up shooting a really nice doe. Ended up being about 4.5 years old, 130 pounds, phenomenal. Did have a couple of fawns, but the fawns were, by this time of year they are way overweaned, and they hang out with mama, okay, but they don't rely on mama. So I think that's a really important lesson too. I know there are a lot of guys out there like, oh man, when am I making orphans of these things? But truthfully, you're really not. Those fawns by this time of year, even by October, they're weaned. You gotta realize, deer in the wild, they only live for 8.5 years. And I'd say that's on the high side. So, everything is kind of sped up in a deer's world, unlike us pathetic, worthless humans who take so long to grow up. But hey, so anyway, so that's kind of what happened on Friday. Wake up on Saturday morning. Conditions were a little bit better, nowhere near as windy. Still pretty warm though. In the afternoon high, I think it got up close to 80 this time. Wind was actually, and so yeah, the wind was actually just as bad as Friday. So again, went to the old traditional, again, kind of like we did Friday. Went to the blinds that were more sheltered, more covered, with cover nearby. And my same buddy, it paid off for him again. So we ended up taking another wonderful doe. actually 125 pounds, which was fantastic. And yet again, picking the right blind to the conditions and paid off. Fast forward again to Sunday morning. And actually, no, when was that? No, let's see. Saturday. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. So Saturday morning, he ended up popping another doe as well. So he ended up with 3 deer, which was just phenomenal. Obviously, that kind of takes care of his meat quota. So I'm obviously very, very happy for him. He certainly did it right. And now his son, 11-year-old, he's gonna be on the gun, and they're gonna see if they can't take a good management buck, or we'll see who shows up. So a heck of a weekend for the deer hunters. Pigs were pretty active too. Ended up shooting several hogs, which is as usual. Also bagged a couple of turkeys as well. So Rancho Bandido is definitely cooking. One thing I would like to mention is, and some people have asked us, how's the acorn crop look? Well, I tell you, the acorn crop that we have, basically, it was nothing like it was a couple of or last year rather. So obviously that's a great thing. Last year was so difficult, being that we had such a huge, massive acorns that the deer and the hogs never went to the feeders. And again, that's, again, one of the reasons why when you plan out your location, where's your blind going to be, where's your feeder going to be, try to make those locations where you at least you're along good travel routes as well, right? So if they're not hitting those feeders, maybe you can catch them in transition. So definitely not having the problems that we did last year, which is always nice. Made for kind of a challenging season. So. Okay, well, let's talk about the part of the weekend that really, really excited me, and this will be the central or the northern zone opener of the Texas duck season. So, obviously, I've been chomping at the bit for this for quite some time. Wasn't really able to hunt dove at the end of the dove season, really, just because of Halloween and a couple other things that were going on. So I was very excited and really, really chomping at the bit to get out there. So, anyways, really talking to my friends who were down there on Friday, they kept saying, "Man, there's a lot of ducks on this main tank that I hunt." And I said, "Okay, well, how many is a lot?" And I was getting reports from 50 to 100 to 200. So I really didn't know what I was going to be up against. Okay, and then unfortunately, had to get the girls and. Friday night we showed up after dark, so I certainly couldn't tell for myself really what was going on as far as who we had or how many birds we really had on the lake. So, early season ducks. Well, obviously early season's opening day. Really kind of the sky's the limit. One thing is always for sure you got to be in camo. Okay, you can't be stupid. The ducks aren't as gun shy, but you sure as hell can't get sloppy, and you can't be stupid. But you can put your decoys out there. You can put your motion decoys out there. You can really got to go to town. So that's kind of what we did. I think I ended up putting out probably a dozen decoys, and I was positioned underneath this big oak tree, which is great because the canopy kind of keeps me protected from birds that will be looking at me. But in the same breath, once the sun started coming up, I was pretty out in the open. So. I do have a duck blind. Because I wasn't able to go down the past couple of weekends, I wasn't able to put it out there to get it used to them. So it is currently out there, and I hope they're getting used to it. So that's certainly going to help me keep a little bit more concealed. Because my goodness, when that sun came up, those birds can definitely see me. So, that really the first 10, 15 minutes before legal shooting light they're just really cool. They're magical to me, really, because these ducks just start dropping in out of nowhere. And if you've got those, we use those Walker Game Ears headphones, right? And so you can hear the birds whizzing around. They sound like little jets, and it's just a really cool experience. Well, on this particular hunt with me on that Saturday morning, I had a good friend of mine and his daughter. and then my oldest daughter, Abby, with me. And so, obviously Abby is, she's a vet. She's been there, done this. But the gentleman with me, he had only been out one other time with me. I don't even think we saw a duck. I don't even think we saw a bird, to be honest with you. And his daughter had never been out. So this was kind of a real new experience for them. Obviously want to try and make a good impression if at all possible, but that's obviously very hard to do when you're hunting. You never know what's going to happen. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, I tell you, I think God was working us that day, because he left one hell of an impression. He did on me, and I've been doing this for billions of years. Let's just put it this way: the long and the short is, when that sun came up, okay, and legal shooting light had passed, and we had 50, 100, 200, probably had conservatively 250 different ducks on the lake. And when I say different, I mean everything from puddle ducks, to teal, mallards, and then we had a ton of diver ducks on there as well. And if you remember what we've kind of always talked about in the past, at least down in central Texas, I don't see divers typically till really in good numbers, okay, until December. And here it is, November 14 or something of that nature, and I've got ringnecks in front of me. I got all kinds of diver ducks in front of me. So it was really just a plethora of ducks. So ended up doing really well. The limit in Texas is 6 birds. End up taking 4. A majority of them are teal, which if you've ever heard me rant and rave, I'm a big teal fan. Love those teal. So shot several of them. Ended up taking a widgeon drake, which is one of my favorite puddle ducks as well. Beautiful, beautiful animal, and I love their whistle too. And then my fourth and final bird for the day was a redhead drake. So the redheads are real popular, really they really key in on the Texas coast. And if you hear anybody who's hunted down there on the Texas coast, or probably Louisiana coast as well, they'll always talk about the plethora of redheads. Or Rancho Bandido, we get our fair share as well. So really cool to be able to take a redhead drake. Also in there were some of they call them the king of the divers, the canvasback. Okay, they're kind of like the mallard, if you will, of diver ducks. They are, I think they're the biggest diver duck, and they kind of look like a big redhead, but they are big. They got kind of a white and silver body with them, with like black in there as well. So saw a few of them, but didn't have a chance at them. But just a really, really great morning. I mean, just seeing all these ducks, and of course you just can't appreciate it until you see an event like that. And so it was really cool. And I gave a good thanks to Ducks Unlimited and the Delta Waterfowl, because, I truly believe that those folks are definitely making an impact. So, a great day all around. Again, ended up getting 4, limit with 6. Probably could have stayed around, but you know what? I had 4. I don't want to be greedy. And just so pleased. Great evening great morning with a good friend, and my daughter and her friend, and then my dog did well as well. Scarlett, she's an older pup. She's gonna be 12, I think. This actually in a couple of days, December 3rd. And she still got it. She can't really see him all that well, but she can sure go fetch him. She just loves it. So was really excited about that. Unfortunately, that ding dong also has the ability to hurt herself quite frequently. And one of the things she loves to do is she'll bring a bird in and she'll do this victory roll, and she rolls around there on the shoreline. Okay, well, sometimes she kind of digs her face into there, and she scars, or she gets a little abscess on her eye. Well, that is exactly what has happened. So $120 later on Monday, I have a fixed dog again, and unfortunately, she's on the disabled list for about 10 days. So she's not going to like that at all. I hope to be able to hunt her later in Thanksgiving, but she is going to be ticked off. But great morning, absolutely great morning. Couldn't have asked for anything better. Decoys worked really well. One thing that I will share with you, and again, it's kind of tough to see But if you can kind of imagine, I'm looking out there and I've got the shoreline. The shoreline in front of me kind of does a big C. Okay, so I'm in this little, almost like a teardrop. Okay, so when I was putting my decoys out that morning, again, it's kind of tough to see. It was dark and I was sweating too. God, it was like 60 degrees. It was kind of miserable. But I didn't put my decoys far enough up against the bank. Okay, and then what I'm saying is that I should have pushed them a little bit further back, kind of more towards the bank, because what was happening is I had a bunch of teal, tiny ducks, right? Teal are the smallest puddle duck there is, were slipping in behind those decoys, so they were tough to get without annihilating my decoys. So that was something that I corrected on Sunday morning. So fast forward to Sunday morning, me and my good buddy who shot his 3 deer, he was done shooting deer, of course, with a little arrogant swagger. And he says, "Hey, let's go out there and we'll shoot some ducks." I said, "Absolutely." So we go out there and we put out the decoys. And, I'm not expecting nearly the numbers, of course. And that's typical. You shoot a tank twice and it's the second day, you're probably not going to have a lot of ducks. Now, or not as many, rather. But the big difference between this morning and Saturday morning was that we had a front come in. Okay. And, those ducks are on the front end of those fronts, right? So, all those ducks that we had really had been blown down by that first front, or by that front in advance of the front, but still just had a bunch of ducks in the area. The great thing was it cooled it down some, because there was sweating bullets out there, and those waders, neoprene, don't breathe. But more importantly is I had motion in my decoys. You probably heard me complain about that a million times, but man, if ducks don't just sit there like a stump. All right, they're constantly moving their heads, going down to feed, doing this, quacking, whatever it may be. And so without any motion, it really doesn't look all that good. Well, I had a steady 10 to 15 mile an hour north winds. It was right in my face. It was perfect. And the birds worked magically. So shot a hell of a lot better. My buddy and I ended up taking 4 apiece. Let me see here. I ended up getting a ringneck and 3 teal, which of course, me, love the green wing teal. So I was a fan of that. My buddy ended up taking, I think he took 3. Yeah, he took 3 teal, and he also popped a gabwall drake, which was kind of funny, because this gabwall drake, it's kind of one of those 35,000 feet shots where the thing is so far up there. We're like, well, what the hell? Birds were kind of stuck up in the wind, checking out our spread. So we lit into him, and he did one of these he was a sailor, he went sailing out there in the field, and I'm in my wader, so my buddy had to go fetch him, and he tried to get up, but my good buddy powder puffed him. So Mr. Gadwall the Gray did not make it very far, but anyway, just another super, super, super cool hunt. All in all, the best opening weekend I have ever had. Didn't limit 2 away, but still, just an absolute ball. And just truthfully, very thankful for that opportunity to be with all those great people and be able to shoot some birds. Going back to the first day, it was all said and done, and big birds were picked up, and it's kind of reflecting upon the shoot. I said to myself, man, that was just a really cool event. Richard, you did your job as a seasoned hunter to show people the miracle of nature. Show them something that they don't see, at 6:30 in the middle of city of Dallas. Nature is truly a magical thing, and it's always something new. So that was really, really cool. But anyway, going to get back after him this weekend and see what we can do. Weather is kind of stagnant. It's been a dry month. Thank God we had all the rain that we did. I think it was September and August, but tanks are getting a little dry. That's going to benefit me because our tanks, majority of the ones we hunt, hold a lot of water. So if we can get some more cold air, which I think we've definitely got some coming next week, that's really going to benefit us. So anyways, looking forward to it. Going to start to get into some deer hunting this weekend as well, and we shall see what we can do. So that is it for me tonight. Certainly appreciate you all following us. Stay safe out there in this crazy ass world with the dumb politicians and that stupid contra virus. We got to sit back and relax. Y'all enjoy this hunting season and try not to think too much about the other crap that's infesting this world. So, anyways, my good friends, thanks again for following us, watching, listening to us. As always, support your local feed store and introduce a new person to hunting. See you down the road.
Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit Podcast. If you like what we discuss on the show, be sure to sign up to our email list to get even more killer hunting ideas, tips, tricks, and exclusive deals on innovative hunting gear and services delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up over at feedbandit.com or simply by texting the word bandit to 33777. See you on the next one, and remember, support your local feed store.